up in today's programme.
Manchester gets educated as proposals for its first LGBT school is announced.
We speak to our film buff David, who will have a full review of the new action-packed movie of 2015.
And we find out why Manchester is now the city with the most single people.
Good afternoon and welcome to Quays News. Headlines today. The body of a man was found in the canal near Dale Street in Manchester city centre in the early hours of this morning. A witness saw the man fall in and has now called the police. At the current time, detectives are not treating the death as suspicious but have yet to determine how the man died.
Police have arrested 21 members of a gang suspected of drug dealing cocaine in Manchester city centre. They raided houses of the suspects in Salford, Trafford and Manchester just before dawn this morning.
Officers seized cocaine thought to be worth up to £100,000, as well as firearms and ammunition. Greater Manchester Police have said there is still more work to be done, and tackling this is their top priority.
Now, plans for Manchester's first lesbian, gay and transgender school are underway.
LGBT Northwest, a community group that supports young people, revealed that it has received £60,000 to take out a lease on a Manchester City Council building.
The aim is to support all pupils, regardless of their sexuality, but opinions are divided. Jim Scott has more.
The region's first gay school is in its early stages of consultation, and although nothing's set in stone, it's certainly created a mixture of opinion. Statistics show that a school of this kind isn't unwanted. The long-established Harvey Milk High School in New York has operated successfully as a school for their community for a number of years, so plans for it to come to Manchester aren't unlikely. Here's what the public thought about the proposal.
I think maybe schools they might have to kind of embrace like having gay out there, but I don't think it's necessary to have like a separate school that's gay.
I think it's a ridiculous idea and it'll segregate them completely. I don't see why they should be learning separately compared to everybody else. It's just their sexuality. I don't think it should make a difference whatsoever for their education.
Well, I think the money should be spent elsewhere, because like, why should they have their own school, you know what I mean? Like, why should they segregate themselves?
LGBT Northwest has received £63,000 in a feasibility fund to take on a lease from Manchester City Council to run the Joyce Leyland Centre. They also say, if young LGBT people say they want a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, inclusive school, then we must explore this. From this report, it's clear that there is a mixture of opinion. Some believe it's a good idea, but others see issues. The consultation will run for the next few weeks and a decision will be announced. Jim Scott, Quays News, Manchester.
With just over 3 months to go until general election and local elections on the 7th of May, people in Greater Manchester are being urged to make sure they are registered to vote.
Manchester City Council is launching a new campaign to mark the start of National Voter Registration Day.
Registration drives will be taking place in various locations, including libraries, youth centres, children's centres and universities. Councils have written to every home in the region and are advising anyone to register online as soon as possible.
We've got a big election coming up. We've got a general election and local elections on the 7th of May. What we want to make sure is that people know that in order to vote in those elections, you need to be on the electoral register. You're responsible for registering yourself to vote. It's really quick and easy to do it. All you need to do is go online at www.gov.uk/register to vote. It takes 2 minutes.
I think it's important, in particular, young people to register, because I think they're more important and they should have their say more, because they're the next generation, as everyone says. But I think because the current government cuts, but young people are suffering from. If they had their say, more would be done about it.
And for those of you wishing to vote, the link to do so will be on your screen now. Now, Metrolink's entire tram network could ground to a halt this month after staff have voted in favour of a 24-hour strike.
Workers, including drivers, electricians, controllers and customer service staff, are walking out over plans to limit a 3.5% pay increase across 2 years instead of the original 3-year plan.
The strike is to take place on February the 11th and could affect all Metrolink services.
Now, thousands of people have been protesting in Manchester this week against public sector cuts.
The anti-austerity smartphone rally has been inspired by the pro-democracy demonstrations in Hong Kong. Protesters have been encouraged to use their mobile phones to send a message to David Cameron. They're calling it a Twitter thunderbolt, with everyone tweeting him at the same time. Organisers say that Manchester and other northern urban councils are getting hit the hardest, which some local MPs dispute.
Joey Payne has the latest sports news.
Lancashire cricket legend Andrew Flintoff caused controversy this week when he described one-day cricket as dull and boring. We asked what you thought on Twitter. Ben thinks that 50-over cricket has lost its appeal but calls 2020 exhilarating. Harry agrees, saying that 50-over has been surpassed by the shortest form of the game. But Callum still thinks 50-over has its place, especially when big scores are hit. After 8 non-league games fell foul to the weather on Saturday, Manchester football fans will be hoping for a much busier weekend of action this time around. In the Conference Premier, Altrincham play host to struggling Aldershot, and Macclesfield are at home against a Welling side who are looking for their first win in 6. In the Conference North, Stockport host Staley Bridge in a North West derby, whilst Hyde are at home to Boston. In the Northern Premier, Ashton travel to Ilkeston and Trafford are also away to Barwell, whilst Curzon Ashton host Belper. And in the First Division North, Droylsden travel to Warrington, Salford visit Prescott Cables and Radcliffe travel to Ossett Albion. Arguably the biggest fixture of the weekend sees FC United of Manchester travel to Torquay in the quarter-final of the FA Trophy. FC face the former Footballing League side, knowing that a win would put them just 2 games away from a historic trip to Wembley in the final. United, the lowest-ranked club in the competition, were formed in 2005 in protest against Malcolm Glazer's takeover of Manchester United. Since then, the club has climbed up the non-league tables, but a trip to Wembley would sit top of their list of achievements. Carl Morgenson's side come into the game on the back of a 3-1 win against Fylde in the last round, as well as wins over Chorley and Harrogate.
All we can do is look after ourselves and make sure that we go out and put the shift in that we have done for the past couple of months, to be honest. If we do that and a team comes up against us and they're better than us, you know, we can go away with no qualms, as long as lads at this time in the competition go out and enjoy it. Just go out and enjoy yourselves. You know, you've earned everything that comes your way. So it's a no.
Now, if you've ever wanted to know what our Secret Service is up to, then David has all the answers. He's been to see the latest film to hit the box office, Kingsman: The Secret Service. But David, is it actually a film about our Secret Service as we know it?
Well, no, it's not our Secret Service per se. It's the Kingsmen are sort of a group of gentlemen spies who operate sort of under the radar, so not even the government know they exist. They sort of do everything under the radar, so whenever they do save the world, no one knows about it. But they are it's very much a film in the sense of the old spy movies, and it's very much a plot is to destroy the whole world, and they're here to save it.
We know that the film has drawn in some really, really big names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got people like Colin Firth, Michael Caine, Mark Strong, and of course Samuel L. Jackson. And I think the thing with this is they're all sort of having a lot of fun. It is a film that's supposed to be fun, and they're all clearly having it. Colin Firth gets to enjoy quite a few good fight scenes. You know, Michael Caine's enjoying his thing, and Samuel L. Jackson as the main villain, he's really going all out, and it's, you know, they're all having a good sense of fun.
And I think what's quite bizarre about this film is actually the lead character isn't any of those names at all. It's a new guy on the block, Taron Egerton.
Yeah, I mean, he's very much the lead into the story, so, you know, with films you normally get a sort of a way into this sort of King's Service, and he's like the new recruit. You know, can he hold his own? And so it's him training up, and we go through. But what's interesting, he's like a council estate guy. It's like, no, you can be a gentleman as well, so it's sort of doing away with the usual sort of class struggles, and being a gentleman is about how you act, not about sort of what culture you come from. So it's, you know, it's very good to get him in there.
Do you think that you know, when we've had things like the James Bond classics through the years, do you really think we need another spy film?
Well, I think spy movies these days are sort of quite serious. You've got, you know, your Bonds and your sort of the recent James Bonds are all quite edgy, it's realistic. I think Matthew Vaughn, the director, wanted to go back to the old spy movies. It's all a bit unrealistic, but it does work really well. It's really fun. I recommend that everyone, you know, check it out.
And when can we go to the cinemas to see this?
Well, it came out last Friday, so it's about now, so it's well worth your time if you fancy it at the weekend.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, David. Now let's see what the weather is looking like this week. Antonia Hunter has been braving the cold outside to find out for us.
Today's forecast will remain cloudy, thickening towards the evening, possibly bringing light rain or sleet, with temperatures dropping to a minimum of -2 degrees. Tomorrow we'll see some sunny spells from late morning to early evening, and temperatures will reach a height of 5 degrees. Now, for those of you planning on sledging to perhaps the Trafford Centre, don't get too excited because we aren't predicting any snow for the weekend. Temperatures will reach a height of 5 degrees, drop to a minimum of 2, and gradually get warmer towards the beginning of next week. That's it for the weather. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Now, according to new figures, Manchester is the best place to find love if you're single. Our very own singleton, Bradley Harris, has been exploring the city to find out if there is any truth behind the statistics.
Let's take a look.
Manchester, full of the young, the crazy, and now the single. That's right, Manchester is now apparently the UK's hotspot for single people. But why?
It's quite a big city in the sense of there's lots to do, there's lots of people here, but it's small at the same time. So it's good to network and you can get around, and it's, I don't know, I guess for that reason I'd probably say it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, when I was single I really enjoyed it. It's got a good vibe, like you say, there's a lot going on. There's a university, so particularly when you're younger, there's a big atmosphere, there's lots of people, lots of places to go out, and it's got better over the years. You know, we used to have the Locks and the Northern Quarter, but then you've got the Spinning Fields, which has expanded, and obviously places south of Manchester like Disbury and Chorlton are big areas to go out as well. So in terms of meeting people, I think there's quite a lot of opportunity. I think the other thing is, I would say this, but Northerners are more friendly. Having lived and been single in London and been single in Manchester, I think you meet more people in Manchester. London people are a bit more, no offence to London, a bit more standoffish. It's harder to get a conversation going.
Manchester is famous as a party city, and quite rightly so, with a vast number of bars, pubs and clubs.
There's lots of places to go out, lots of places to meet other people, food's good, lots of places to go eat out, so there's lots of things to do with other people. I think that's why. It's a great city to like meet somebody. Like I was just out last night actually at 42nd Street nightclub, and yeah, it was full of single people. So yeah, I'd recommend it if you're single.
The city is home to virtually every cuisine in the world, and it doesn't even cost a fortune. No, really, it doesn't. You can eat at a number of high-quality wonders such as Almost Famous, or you can also find just as much delight in the famous Rice and 3 restaurants in the Northern Quarter, where you get rice and a choice of 3 different curries for a £5.
So there we are then. Now we know why Manchester is the best place to be single in the UK, and to be honest, I wouldn't really want to be anywhere else. Bradley Harris, Quays TV News.
Manchester being the best place to be if you're single, what do you think?
I don't know, but that £5 for 3 curries, you're going to have to take me.
When do you want to go?
I'm free tonight.
Well, I think we might have to go along. Yeah.
I think the thing with Manchester being the home for most single people is true, there's too much to do. So no one wants to settle down.
I think Manchester's got a great brand for itself, especially with this LGBT. Have you seen the new series on Channel 4? Filmed in Manchester. They used some of the university as well. This
brilliant.
New Banana from Autocue. We've just had some breaking news. There are protests taking place outside the BBC offices at Salford Quays today over paedophilia accusations within the industry. Keep a close eye on our website, quaysnews.net, for more information on that.
And that's all we've got time for today. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at Quays News and visit our website, quaysnews.net.
Thanks for joining us today. Tune in to Friday First at 1:30 for tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
See ya.